Hey guys, this is Taylor with Body Temple System, and I'm here with a friend and also someone who's done some coaching, and I saw her for physical therapy myself, but Dr. Teresa, and the name of your company is Movement RX.
Movement RX.
And what's the website on that again?
Movement-rx.com.
Cool. But what we have for you today is, obviously she's got a lot of knowledge on the squat, biomechanics, how to properly execute the squat, because we all know the squat is very, very good for body composition, for strength, and all of you are wanting to lose weight and improve your strength and improve your body composition. You need to be squatting, but there's a lot of information out there that's incorrect and just not healthy for you to be doing those squats. So we want to talk about what a real squat looks like, how to coach and cue on it, and then if you're having issues with it, how to correct some of those issues. So maybe we'll kind of start with, you know, if I'm a Joe Schmo and I want to squat, where would you start with me on showing me the proper way to squat?
Well, I would first ask you, what have you been doing? Like, what kind of squatting have you been doing?
Yeah.
Obviously, you probably squat to a toilet. Right?
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah, that's good. You probably squat to a chair for dinner or at a desk.
Yep.
Hopefully you stand more than you sit.
Yep.
We do squatting all freaking day long.
Yeah.
So, what about lifting? Like, if you're a Joe Schmo, like what's the typical response for like types of squatting you would be doing? Like heavyweight or?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, for me, I like to squat heavy, but I feel like, especially with like a lot of women out there, they think, well, if I squat heavy, I'm gonna get big and bulky. So I feel like most of the time they're squatting lighter and maybe using like a really tiny barbell. And I feel like a lot of people are doing like a half squat because they're nervous about their knee health or something like that.
Right, okay, so that's a good point. So a lot of people, there's this myth on going below parallel is gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Well, and that might be, you know, that's a very typical response I get for people who aren't used to squatting or are scared of adding weight to their squat.
Yeah.
And my answer to that is you're designed to squat below parallel. Your body, your hips, your spine are designed to squat below parallel. Our country and the country of Britain have the highest total hip replacements, and there's a reason.
Wow.
We don't use our hips enough. Too many of us sit in this static position all day long, and we don't use the full depth of what our hips are capable of.
Got it. So why is it then, because a lot of people think this is safer for my knee, because a lot of people hear in the magazines or things like that, I don't want my knees going over my toes.
Right.
So,
so knees going over the toes is another good myth.
Yeah.
It is okay for your knees to go over your toe as long as there's, you use the term rooting.
Yeah.
As long as there's torque going on in the hip and foot. So if my knee goes over my toe, let's say I was going to do a pistol, where I go all the way down to the bottom of the squat, back up on one leg.
Yeah.
And my knee has to go in front of my toe, okay? So if I'm gonna sit down at the bottom of this position and sit like this, my knee is in front of my toe, right? But I'm not gonna sit down there if I'm in a position of, a core position with my knee going in, right? I want my knee going out because that creates torque in my hip.
Got it.
My hip and my foot is active, okay? So if I'm gonna sit down here, I'm going to sit in a very active position versus a very douchey position. Okay? That's not healthy. This is healthy. That's healthy!
Yeah.
Okay. I'm no gymnast, all right? But
so you're saying so when someone sets up for a squat, they need to root into the ground, which is going to create that torquing action on the knee, which helps
fire up the hip.
Preload the hips.
Yes. One thing that you mentioned earlier was people are afraid to squat below parallel because of, you know, the fear of the unknown. This is the unknown territory. Well, the rest of the world squats over a toilet like this. Okay, and that's, again, this is a very healthy position as long as your hips and your feet are engaged. Gotcha. Okay, so that's especially under load. Like about 90 degrees of hip flexion is when the patella bone actually compresses the most amount into the knee joint. Wow. So That's why it can be a more vulnerable position.
Yeah.
But if the way the condyles of your femur, so this big bone, look at this big leg here. Okay, so the medial condyle of this femur is actually bigger. And so if you actually create torque there and squat down, you should feel no pain throughout the entire motion of your squat, regardless of the compression that goes on in the patella. Okay, now if you do have cartilage damage, let's say in your patella, which, with our culture, degenerative joint, chondromalacia, things like that are common. Yeah. So maybe you're gonna have to do the low bar back squat or the more box squat version. Yeah. To take the load off for a little while. Got it. But it's still, squatting should always be a part of your therapy or training. Yeah. Awesome. If you feel that your mobility is restricted, like you're having a hard time with figuring out, is it maybe a motor control issue? Maybe you just learned that word today. Is it a mobility issue? And you've been working on this for a while, then you can contact us, movement-rx.com. We've got phone number, you can email us, and we'll get back to you within 24 hours. So I would like you guys to check out Body Temple System, especially if you want individualized one-on-one care, because these guys pay attention to detail, they really care, and very interested in learning, and already have put out some really amazing athletes doing their one-on-one work.
And if you guys are wanting more direction with how to improve body composition, how to decrease fat, lose weight, then please, we do a free fitness strategy call. You should be able to see the link in the button below. Click and fill that out, and we'll get on the phone and we will help you personally over your specific goals and issues that are going on, and we'll come up with a plan so that you can have the body of your dreams and you can move the way that you were meant to move. So, sweet. High five. That was awesome.